The medieval world, a time shrouded in mystery and often romanticized for its chivalry and grandeur. But behind the veil of castles and knights, lay a world steeped in superstition and fear. Imagine a world where the cure for a common cold might involve bloodletting or attaching leeches to your skin. From the fearsome witch hunts that gripped Europe to the bizarre practice of putting animals on trial, we'll uncover the beliefs and motivations behind these eerie rituals. Join me as we journey back in time to an era where superstition reigned, and the line between reality and the supernatural was blurred. Step into a medieval apothecary and you might witness a scene that would make even the bravest soul squirm. Bloodletting, the practice of draining blood from a patient, was considered a cornerstone of medicine for over 2 millennia. The rationale behind this seemingly barbaric practice lay in the ancient theory of humors. Medieval physicians believed that the body was governed by 4 humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. Bloodletting, often performed by attaching leeches or making incisions with a lancet, was believed to restore balance to the humors, and thus cure a wide range of ailments, from headaches to the plague. The practice was so ingrained in medieval society that even barbers performed it, their red and white striped poles a lasting symbol of this once ubiquitous procedure. Bloodletting serves as a stark reminder of how medical practices have evolved over the centuries, and how what was once considered a cure-all could later be viewed as archaic and even dangerous. The darkness of the Middle Ages was further deepened by the specter of witchcraft. Fueled by fear, superstition, and religious fervor, the belief in witches took root in communities across Europe, igniting a wave of persecution that would last for centuries. In a world grappling with disease, famine, and war, witches became scapegoats for misfortune and unexplained events. The publication of the Malleus Maleficarum, or The Witch's Hammer in 1486, served as a chilling guidebook for witch hunters. This infamous text outlined methods for identifying, interrogating, and executing accused witches, further fueling the fires of paranoia. The witch hunts, a dark chapter in human history, stand as a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked fear and the devastating consequences of mass hysteria. In the annals of medieval medicine, few creatures are as both reviled and revered as the leech. These blood-sucking worms, often found in freshwater ponds and streams, played a surprisingly prominent role in the medieval apothecary. Like bloodletting, the use of leeches stemmed from the humoral theory. Physicians believed that by attaching leeches to a patient's body they could draw out bad blood and restore balance to the humors. Leeches were employed to treat a vast array of ailments, from headaches and fevers to gout and even mental illness. Leeches were placed on the skin, often near the affected area, and allowed to feed until they were engorged with blood. Surprisingly, the use of leeches in medicine has not entirely vanished. In modern times, leeches have made a comeback in certain medical procedures, particularly in microsurgery, where their blood-thinning properties can be beneficial. Imagine a world where guilt or innocence was determined not by evidence or testimony, but by the will of God, as interpreted through dangerous and often deadly trials. This was the reality of medieval justice, where the concept of trial by ordeal held sway. Rooted in the belief that God would intervene to protect the innocent, these trials tested the accused's faith and resilience in the face of unimaginable pain and danger. One such trial involved plunging the accused's arm into boiling water. If, after a few days, the burns were healing cleanly, it was seen as a sign of God's favor, and thus, innocence. Another popular ordeal was trial by water, where the accused was bound and thrown into a body of water. If they sank, they were considered innocent, as water was thought to reject the guilty. While the intention may have been to seek divine judgment, the reality was that these ordeals were often arbitrary, cruel, and heavily influenced by superstition and the prejudices of the time. In the heart of a medieval city, a hush falls over the crowd as the condemned is led to the scaffold. Public executions, a grim reality of life in the Middle Ages, were not merely acts of punishment but also public spectacles that drew massive crowds. These events were often treated as macabre forms of entertainment, a chance for people from all walks of life to witness the brutal reality of crime and punishment. The methods of execution were as varied as they were gruesome, ranging from hanging and beheading to burning at the stake and being drawn and quartered. They were meant to instill fear in the hearts of potential criminals, a stark reminder of the consequences of breaking the law. The spectacle of public executions, while abhorrent to modern sensibilities, offers a glimpse into the complex social fabric of the Middle Ages, where life was often cheap and death a public affair. The annals of medieval history are filled with tales that seem almost too bizarre to believe. One such peculiarity was the practice of putting animals on trial, subjecting creatures great and small to the rigors of the human justice system. These trials, often held for crimes like property damage or even murder, were conducted with a surprising degree of formality. Animals were assigned lawyers, presented with evidence, and given the opportunity to defend themselves, though their voices were often represented by human advocates. While the idea of putting an animal on trial might seem absurd to us now, it highlights the complex relationship between humans and animals in the Middle Ages, a time when the line between the human and animal worlds was often blurred. Imagine a world where the air itself was believed to carry disease, a poisonous miasma that could strike down even the healthiest individual. This was the prevailing belief during the Middle Ages, a time when the understanding of disease was shrouded in superstition and fear. Miasma theory, as it was known, posited that diseases were caused by bad air, often emanating from rotting organic matter, swamps, or even the breath of sick individuals. The Great Plague or Black Death, which ravaged Europe in the 14th century, only served to strengthen the grip of miasma theory. People carried posies of flowers and sweet-smelling herbs, believing that the pleasant aromas would ward off the foul, disease-ridden air. While miasma theory was eventually debunked with the advent of germ theory, its legacy serves as a reminder of the power of belief and the long, arduous journey towards understanding the true nature of disease. Step into a medieval physician's chamber, and you might be greeted by a sight that would make even the strongest stomach churn. Urine, yes, you heard that right, played a surprisingly prominent role in medieval diagnostics. Physicians, known as uroscopists, believed that urine held valuable clues about a patient's health. They would carefully collect urine samples in flasks, often shaped like bladders, and then subject the golden liquid to a battery of tests. Color, clarity, odor, even taste, yes, taste, were all considered important diagnostic indicators. A cloudy appearance might suggest a bladder infection, while a reddish hue could be a sign of kidney problems. The reliance on urine as a diagnostic tool might seem like a strange footnote in medical history, but it speaks to the ingenuity, however misguided, of medieval physicians who, in the absence of modern technology, relied on their senses and the tools available to them to diagnose and treat their patients. The pursuit of spiritual purity often took a dark and painful turn in the Middle Ages, manifesting in practices like self-flagellation, a brutal form of penance where individuals would inflict pain upon themselves as a way to atone for their sins. Armed with whips, chains, or even studded belts, these individuals, often monks or devout believers, would publicly lash their bodies, drawing blood and leaving behind horrific welts. The act was seen as a way to mortify the flesh, to punish the physical body for the perceived sins of the soul. While the practice might seem extreme and even barbaric to modern eyes, it highlights the powerful hold that religion had on medieval society, and the lengths to which individuals would go to seek atonement and spiritual solace. The forests of the medieval world were shrouded in mystery and fear, home not only to wolves and wild beasts, but also to creatures that lurked in the shadows between myth and reality. Among these, the werewolf, a terrifying hybrid of man and beast, held a particularly chilling place in the medieval imagination. Tales of werewolves, often depicted as shape-shifting humans cursed or possessed by demonic forces, spread throughout Europe, fueled by superstition and the very real fear of wolf attacks on livestock and even humans. Belief in werewolves was widespread, and accusations of lycanthropy, the ability to transform into a wolf, could lead to ostracism, imprisonment, or even death. The enduring legend of the werewolf serves as a reminder of the power of folklore and the ways in which fear and superstition can shape our understanding of the world around us, blurring the lines between reality and the imagined beasts that lurk in the shadows of our collective consciousness. From the unsettling practices of bloodletting and leeching to the chilling fear of witches and werewolves, we've journeyed through some of the darkest and most peculiar corners of medieval history. These practices, while often unsettling to modern sensibilities, offer a glimpse into a world shaped by vastly different beliefs, fears, and understandings of the world. The Middle Ages, though often shrouded in myth and romanticized in popular culture, were a time of great hardship, uncertainty, and a constant struggle against the unknown. As we emerge from this exploration of the past, we can't help but marvel at how far we've come in our understanding of medicine, science, and the natural world. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment below with your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel for more journeys into the fascinating and sometimes unsettling world of history.